IPMNation.com.
I am fired up for this morning show. All right, let's get this thing kicked off.
All natural being. Warning, all natural being with Brian Brawdy is designed to shake your sense of self to the core.
It's full contact psychology with an empowering twist, a philosophical loofah for your soul.
For those of you not ready or comfortable releasing your inner superhuman, listener discretion is advised.
Here's your host,
Brian Brawdy.
Welcome to All Natural Being. As the announcer says, I'm Brian Brawdy. Also, as the announcer says, if you're not comfortable releasing your inner superhuman, your all-natural being, your metahuman, then the show probably isn't for you. If you're a part of the Gossamer Cult, that was very offensive. Well, let's cut to the chase. This show isn't meant for you. So this is like a disclaimer. You ever get on an airplane? You're flying somewhere, and the flight attendant, usually happens on Southwest Airlines, right? But the flight attendant will go, hey, you might be on the wrong plane. If you aren't planning on going to Miami, New York, Los Angeles, wherever it is, this would be a good time to get off this plane because that's where we're headed. And every so often, maybe one out of, I don't know, not as much now as it used to happen, but people would go, oh, I'm on the wrong plane. Well, this show could very well be the wrong plane for you if you're a part of the Gossamer Cult. Now, you know what I'm talking about. We touched on it yesterday. Papier-mâché minds, spines with the thickness and the girth and the strength of a piece of wet pasta noodle. You get where I'm going with this. Because this show is all about people who are fired up about reconnecting with who they ultimately are. Not the timid, not the politically correct pincushions running around. And I thought about it a lot since yesterday. I've had some traveling to do, and so I had, you're traveling, you have a good bit of time by yourself, you put your sunglasses on, you put your hat on, you put your earphones on so that, you can just kind of veg, don't have to have impromptu conversations, you just kind of by yourself. So I thought a lot about it. I thought about a lot of people going, oh, they're not going to like that, Brian saying that there are, that there's elite mindfulness, that there are all natural beings, and some people that have slid back to not being their all natural themselves, that don't want to challenge the labyrinth, that say, hey, go ahead and bring it. So before we get into it, let me thank you. If you're one of the kindred, if you're one of the people that are in to tapping in to your all-natural being, if you want to let your metahuman out, if you want to revive your inner superhuman, I'm fired up to have you here. No two ways about it. And thank you for making us the #1 show on IPMNation.com. Also over at iTunes, all the different places that you can get this show. Thank you so very much. And I got to tell you, I'm living La Vida 11 a.m. or whatever that song is. This is fantastic. So I want to thank you for making us #1. And I think the reason we're still #1, I think this is the 85th episode, I believe, somewhere in there. I think the reason we're #1 is this is a no BS show. This is a show about you, the real you, the true you, not the watered down you. And I have to tell you, with every fiber in me, every ounce of my being, I am absolutely certain that your unique genetic combo, who you are in this moment, everything that you are right now, all the nomenclature that is you, is perfectly tailored for this particular moment in the labyrinth, this particular moment in all of time. So people, a big debate. Oh, is it nature or nurture? Are we a tabula rasa? Are we a blank slate when we're born? Oh, no. We're not a blank slate. Don't care. Nature, nurture, What I do know, what I do believe with every ounce of who I am, what I'm certain I've uncovered in now over 30 years of investigation. 30 years. 30 years. I'm an old guy. I've been doing this quite a while now. 30 years. I'm absolutely certain that whatever your genetic makeup is, you're here to manifest your destiny. And that genetic makeup, that uniqueness, that authenticity, not just, oh, well, be authentic. Wear this t-shirt like the rest of us that are authentic. No! I'm talking about down to your genes, down to your DNA, down to the dirt, the sap, the marrow of who you are. That combination is uniquely qualified to grab this moment of fate by the throat, to channel our inner Beethoven. What a badass he must have been. But this moment in all of time, to grab fate by the throat and go, nope, this is my moment. This is what I'm doing. This is where I am right now. This is what I'm all about. Now, for those of you that have listened to me for a while, you know that my absolute belief is that the key to life, and if I had heavenly angel trumpets, I could go, whoa, or however a trumpet would sound. Maybe that's it. Cue the trumpets. The key to life is to bring your own bold. You, to bring your unique brand of bold. No apologizing, no begging for permission, no, oh, here's my Gossamer Cult badge. Yes, I'm a member of the Gossamer Cult because my skin has the consistency of a piece of wet paper towel. That's me, porous, through and through. No, not that one. I should tell you that I'm sitting here recording and I'm watching hummingbirds right out the window. That's always nice. That's a nice sign. Hummingbirds. Oh, don't let me forget to talk about cicadas either. They've been waiting 17 years for this encore, so we'll kick that around in a little bit. But here's the thing. Bring your own bold. That's the key. To take the wind straight in our face. We square our shoulders, we smile, and we say, I'm game, I'm in. Just bring it. No fear, no excuses, no, oh, let me check my calendar. I'll get back to you, fate. Let me see. No more complacency. You're not going to sit in the corner and cower. Not going to do it. I think of my good friend Chris. If there's a 14,000-foot peak anywhere within 100 miles of this guy, he's on it. Now, you and I might not be the mountaineer that he is, but there are other 14,000-foot peaks, philosophically, metaphorically in our minds, that you and I are perfectly designed. Perfectly. Everyone, we talks about, oh, well, it's in my genes. I have a gen. No. If it's in your genes, how do you know? People say, oh, well, it's all, like genes get a bad rap. Oh, well, you're genetically predisposed. Only 50% of you. That 50% of you, one way or another, is uniquely qualified to grab this moment in all of time and go, you work for me. That moment, oh, over here, Junior. You're here for me to mold you. So put that in your pipe and smoke it, right? We don't have to take a back seat. We don't have to be complacent. If you're here to bring your bold. People go, oh, I don't have the energy. Oh, I'm too unhappy. I'm too sad. There's my badge. I'm a member of the Gossamer Cult. Well, if we're too sad, it's because we don't bring our own bold, our unique brand of boldness. Because I believe there's a difference between fashion and style. Your soul has its own style. Every time someone else wants to get you to conform to their sense, that's fashion. Oh, that's fashion. Oh, look at that. That looks great. You ever show up in an airport? Speaking of airports, you ever show up in an airport, like, and 11 people are dressed like the cover of GQ magazine for that month? Oh, yeah, you, boy. That's authenticity. Oh, my God. Oh, I'm so glad to meet you. Not that. I'm talking about your soul style. You. Your boldness. I don't care who you are. Which is why I say all the time, I'm a huge fan of yours. Even in those times where you forget who you are, I'm a huge fan. Because your unique genetic makeup is tailored perfectly for this moment in all of time. So it doesn't matter nature and nurture. Are we this or are we that? Do we learn it all or was it encoded into us? What was encoded was our all-natural being. I can guarantee you that. I'm absolutely, down to the threads of fiber in me, absolutely certain that your all-natural being, your metahuman, your inner superhuman is waiting for you to go. Right? Like you're a Major League Baseball player. You walk out to the mound, you go, send me the righty, send me the lefty, get him in here. It's just waiting for you to call it off the sidelines. Get into the game. And then you go, what was I worried about happiness? What was I worried about fulfillment? Why was I so distracted? Bring your own bold and all those things fall into line. Bring your own bold. Exercise who you are at the base of your spine, the marrow of your minds. When we do that, happiness is like, well, of course I'm happy. Of course I'm untouchable. Does everything always go the way I want? No. But I'm in. I paid for the ticket. That's why I love that Helen Keller quote. Everyone knows this part, that life is either a daring adventure or nothing at all. But the second part, the second sentence of that quote says, to keep our faces towards change and behave like free spirits in the presence of fate is strength undefeatable. Think about that. Strength undefeatable. Well, you have that strength. It's in you. Might be dormant, might be hanging out. You might have sent it on a lunch break. Doesn't mean it's dead. Doesn't mean it's gone. It's not an expatriate. Hasn't gone to live in another country. It's in you. Strength undefeatable. How do you get that? We keep our faces towards change. We live life in the labyrinth. We behave like free spirits, free from goals, free from bucket lists, free from other people's attention, free from the meanderings of the Gossamer Cult. Because it's, as I said in the anaerobic aphorism, I threw up 2 anaerobic aphorisms for today, just because I was kind of digging it. But in any event, right, it's the Gossamer Cult that's destroying our future. Everyone, we can't have a discussion. We can't have a discourse with everyone we bump into. Oh, well, that's just offensive. So what do you and I do? We pick the conversations where we think we can make and have the greatest impact. And then we bring our own bold. We face change, like Helen Keller says. Free spirits in the presence of fate, because fate is gunning for us. Another great one. How about Teddy Roosevelt? Talk about bold and grit. I think I saw a story one time where someone had tried to kill him. I was at a museum somewhere out west where they had the actual shirt that he wore when the bullet. Oh, it might be. You know what? It might be Roosevelt National Park up in the high country, up in the west. I think that's where it was. Remind me to tell you sometime of the bison story, mountain biking into that bison herd head on. That was fun. All right, so in any event, here's a guy that's giving a speech. Someone shoots him. He goes, that's just a flesh wound, right? Like Monty Python. Come back here and fight like a man. Remember that scene from Monty Python where the guard, the knight, is guarding the bridge? One arm gone. Flesh wound. Second arm gone. Ah, that's just a flesh wound, just a nick. And he keeps fighting until his arms and legs are gone. Where's Teddy Roosevelt? Guy shoots him. Ah, please, get him out of here. I'm not going to bleed out. Let me finish my speech. I forget how long the speech was, but I'm pretty sure that's about Teddy Roosevelt. He says, it's not the critic that counts, the walking, talking, potted plants of Venus flytraps. Right? The ever-present, the ubiquitous. They're always circling around these pits of quicksand. He didn't say that. I threw that in. So let me just go with his quote. It's not the critic that counts. Not the man who points, or the woman. I don't want to be mansplaining. It's not the man or woman who points out. Wah, wah, wah. Mansplaining. Man or woman who points out how the strong stumble, where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man and the woman who is actually in the arena. Quick time out. That's a little ad lib. What's the arena? The labyrinth. You and me, we throw ourselves into the arena. We're in the labyrinth. So he says, credit belongs to those that put themselves in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood. We want it marred by dust and sweat and blood. That's who we are. That's our bold. That's what makes us impeccably human. And the Gossamer Cult is never going to get it. The politically correct pincushions are never going to get it. God love them. See you in the sidelines. Put them in the rear view mirror. Send their call to voicemail. It belongs to those who strive valiantly, who err, who come up short again and again and again. Because there is no effort without error and shortcoming. But it belongs to those who actually strive to do the deeds, who know the great enthusiasms, the great devotions, the great adventures, who spend themselves. Think about that. We talk all the time about, I'd like to go back home as a skin bag full of zilch, zero, zippo, nothing. I will have drained every bit of my soul's sap out by the time the Grim Reaper comes for me. But he says, who spends themselves in a worthy cause, who know at best, in the end, the triumph of high achievement, and who at worst, if they fail, at least they fail while daring greatly, so that their place shall never be with those cold and timid souls, the Gossamer Cult, who neither know victory nor defeat. I love that quote. Throwing ourselves into the arena. That's the labyrinth. That's why we're here. That's like buying, I saw something the other day, like if you go to a football game, tickets are like $250. That's like buying a ticket to a football game and then sitting in your car, listening to it on the radio in the parking lot of I don't know, a convenience store a couple blocks away from the stadium. Who would do that? You and I are here to throw ourselves into the labyrinth. To have our face covered with dust, how great does that taste? To have our face covered with sweat and blood, that's the gig we signed up for. Hunter S. Thompson, I love him. There's a guy, what a Looney Tune. Oh, just like the rest of us, if we let it out, everyone goes, oh, why do you think we're Looney Tunes? Because we are. That's a great gift of life. Hunter S. Thompson says that civilization ends at the waterline. Beyond that, we all enter the food chain, and not always right at the top. Well, let me say, where he says that civilization ends at the waterline, well, if it ends, that's where the labyrinth begins. I have to be honest with you. All the time in nature, the bison, the elk, the alligators, crocodiles, grizzly bears, wolves, mountain lions. Sometimes in the Midwest, like a coyote might, you never know, a coyote could come after you. Rattlesnake. There's something about being out in nature when you're not the top of the food chain. Because you got to think on your feet. You got to throw yourself in the labyrinth. Oh, I'm a human being, Mr. Shark. You're not allowed to eat me. Oh, yeah? Try to show your Gossamer Cult card to a mountain lion. See what that gets you. There's something about being in the labyrinth where we don't know. Mandy Hale, I think we talked about her yesterday, that beautiful, she calls it beautiful uncertainty. So it's the opposite of civilization. I've often thought for years the word Eden, in some interpretations it's spelled E-D-I-N, E-D-I-N, and the word Eden is the uncultivated wilderness at the edge of town. The Eden, uncultivated, outside of civilization. That's the waterline that Hunter's talking about, and that's where the labyrinth begins. But that's where you and I have a chance to dive for the pearls. So So you and I get to decide how we're going to play this. Are we going to bring our own bold? Are we? Or no? But if we're unhappy, if we're unfulfilled, if we're sad, if we're not in the relationship we want to be in, we've talked before about charisma. We're not in the relationship we want to be in. Think how magnetic your personality would be if it were really your personality. Your personality. Who you really are. Not the scaffolding. Not the facade. Not the conditioning. But the real you. Imagine how magnetic you would be then. When you're bold, people go, holy crap, what is up with that girl, with that boy, with that guy, with that gal? I don't know what I'm allowed to say anymore. What is up with that? There's just a feel, there's just something about them. Good golly, you're just drawn to them. Well, there you go. So when you and I throw ourselves into the labyrinth, we're bringing our own bold, and it's in you. We may not see it all the time. It may not be normal, but there's a difference between normal and natural. We say this, well, maybe not every day, but kind of close. That boldness sits within you. I threw up a second anaerobic aphorism as well, just because I hear, I don't know, I hear a lot about failure of late. Some people think it's cool. Some people think it isn't. You know, you look back at Roosevelt's quote, and he says, look, it's not always going to go smooth, right? There's going to be, we don't have an effort unless there's an error, unless there's shortcomings. We're not going to have it. So shortcomings. But it isn't failure if it doesn't derail you. Might be a mistake. You know, I've been doing a lot of TV lately, and sometimes you'll have a director of photography there. All right, let's do this. Let's run to a quick break, 331-684-7685, 331-684-SOUL, SOUL. You can send me a text. Also, don't forget allnaturalbeing.com, revivingsuperhumans.com, unlockingmetahumans.com. You get where I'm going with this. As I say every day, send me an email. We'll reach out. We'll hook up that way. That'd be pretty cool. And then we're going to go ahead. We're going to run to a quick break, and we will be right back.
IPMNation.com.
IPMNation.com. All right, so this whole thing about failure. We really don't fail if we learn from it. If we look at failure, doesn't derail us. If we look at failure as feedback, it's just like me being in front of the camera. Now, it's not so much live TV, because live TV, you're just kind of on your own, right? You're out there, and whatever happens, happens. If you screw up, then they're trying to wrap early. Go to commercial! Go to commercial! He said crap. But if it's a taped piece, you'll do 2 or 3 takes, sometimes more. It's not that you failed in the first take. Maybe it's a mistake. But you tried a bunch of different ways because you're never really sure that you brought your best. So you give it 2 or 3 takes, sometimes 4 takes, sometimes from different angles, different inflection. Doesn't mean that you did it wrong. Just means maybe you can do it a little better in the next take. So what I do when I get in front of the camera, I like to get one take that the director loves. And I should tell you, if you've ever heard me speak publicly, or if we've had the opportunity to hang out, which I hope we have. If we haven't yet, I hope we will in the future. I hate the F word. People just, and it's the only thing I say I hate. I hate the F word. So when I'm on set and I do a take and the director goes, oh, that was fine. Fine. That was fine. I did all that. And my effort, bringing my own bold, you tell me it was fine. I hate the F word. I don't want fine. I want that was, you nailed it. I want that was brilliant. I want that. I smell Emmy. I smell an Emmy. I don't want to be fine. Who wants to be fine? fine. I hate the F word. And it's the only thing I ever say I hate. So when we're on and the director's right there, I want the director to go, oh, you nailed that one. So then what I do, have one in the can. You give him 3 or 4 other takes. Give her. She might say, oh, Bri, could you try it accenting this part of the phrase? Or could you do it with a little less emotion here and a little more emotion over there? So they're mistakes. It wasn't exactly what had to happen in that moment for the director to go, drove it deep. And that's what I do. And that's what mistakes are. We don't fail. I only fail if I throw the hands up in the air and go,
oh, I just can't work with this director. He's nuts. You could never do enough for her.
Right? That's when I fail. But when I get on set, I hit my X. The lights go on. The cameras go on. And I work with videographers now. I work with shooters now that'll put a little piece of duct tape over the light so I can't tell when we're live. And I love to do this as a drill because I've had photographers come to me afterwards and say, we looked at the tape when you were done. Not most days today it's digital. It's not a lot of tape anymore. But, it used to be we look at the tape. Now we just look at the card, right, because it's a digital card. We just looked at the card, and we can't tell the difference between when you knew you were on and when you knew you were off. You brought that same energy each and every time. Well, that's what you and I can do to life. We can bring that boldness. And if we don't hit it right the first time, it's a mistake. That's all. Ever been rock climbing? You go to grab a particular finger hold and it slips off? Do you push off the wall and jump to your death? No. Try to find another finger hold, another foothold, another route up the wall. That's why in golf, I don't know if you play golf or dance. You're out dancing. You make the wrong move. You make the wrong step. What do? You go, let me try this. Let me try that. So it isn't failure unless it derails us. So people say, oh, I don't want to do it. I'm too afraid to fail. Well, it's just a mistake. You get up, you do it again. As Roosevelt says, who comes up short again and again and again. God love us. That's what it means to be in the labyrinth. Take 17, right? But in the end, you're going to nail it. So you keep going and going and going. If you take a drink of water, you look at the director and go, really? One of those 11 takes didn't work. But when you go, nope, I want it polished. I want to nail my lines before we move on to the next one. Because you don't want to go on and you have a little bit of a mistake, and then you nail the next couple lines. You're like, that didn't really set up what you're going to do. They're just mistakes. It's only failure if I walk off the set, which thankfully I've never done. And sometimes when I'll meet people and they'll have a conversation, they go, have you ever failed? No. Because I'm just too thick-headed to give up. I'll keep going and going and going and going and going. And that's what you're built with as well. That same grit, that same determination, that same drive when we channel that energy. But if we're starting to side with the Gossamer Cult, we're starting to side with all those people. We drain our energy. Then we don't have energy left. Thank you very much for the text. I'm enjoying it myself. 331-684-7685, 331-684-SOUL. When we let that energy drain, we don't have any energy left to bring our bold. But when we have our naturally thick skin, when we have a spine, a backbone, the strength and girth of a telephone pole, which we were born with, let's call an ace an ace. That's what we were born with. We want to surrender that. Well, we surrender the energy that goes with it. And then when we turn, we get to the water line, and everyone goes,
oh, I can't believe the orca bit me when I got to the water line.
Here's what I can tell you, especially when it comes to dealing with the Gossamer Cult, when it comes to dealing with fate, when it comes to Venus flytraps. when it comes to any of it. Life is situated so that predators are constantly looking for prey. I don't care the size of predator, don't care the size of prey. Don't care the nomenclature at all. Predators will always be looking for prey. That's what they do. They're predators. So how do you and I get through life without being the victim of a predator? Ourselves included, because sometimes our own minds are the predators that come after us. How do we get through life? We bring our own bold. We don't act like predators. We don't act like victims. We act like visionaries, bold visionaries. And each and every moment, we seriously deliver our boldness. Now you could say, really, Bri, each and every moment? Well, no, we can take a break. We can take a nap. Siesta. What in Rome? But in those moments where you decide this is what matters right now, you got to seriously deliver your bold. That's what you're here to do. And when you do, believe me, predators will go, I'm not going to mess with that. Think about it in your own life. Now, it doesn't have to be a grizzly bear. It doesn't have to be a bison in Yellowstone. Right? It doesn't have to be like that. It doesn't have to be something gunning for you in the animal kingdom, but just in your own life. Some people that would have treated you like prey. What could you have done? You ever hear stand up for yourself? Well, that's bring your own bold. Stand up for the true you, the real you, the authentic you at your core. Same thing. That's bringing your own bold. And sometimes the best way to do that is 20-second victories. Right now, for the next 20 seconds, can I channel my bold? Right now. Can I channel my bold? Can I bring it? And then just see what happens. Just see what happens. Is it at all possible that that's exactly what the situation calls for? Hands down. No two ways about it. And I think you're going to find that when you do, you go, wow, that felt pretty cool. That felt great, as a matter of fact. Let's do it. All right, let's do this. Let's take a quick break. And then we're going to come back. I want to talk about unpacking our conditioning. That's a great way, especially with the weekend coming up. Great way to unpack our conditioning. We'll be right back.
You're listening to All Natural Being with Brian Brawdy. How much longer will you let them hijack your head and your heart?
There we go. How much longer are we going to let them hijack our head and our hearts? How much longer are we going to hijack our own hearts and heads? Because we can spend that energy letting them be hijacked, or we can spend that energy dovetailing the two of them. So we know we can bring our own bold. We don't have to play the victim. We don't have to be prey. We don't have to. That's not what we're built for. So think of some situations. Maybe in your journal, your logbook, your evidence blot, if you get it out, write down. What are some of the times in the past, maybe you're going through something right now, where you feel like prey in the equation, in the scenario, in your circumstances? Do you deserve to be prey? Is it right for you to be targeted? Is it right for you to be a victim? What are you going to do? If fate tries to derail you, are you going to let that happen? Because that's absolutely the key to unhappiness, unfulfillment, not feeling like you're a success, not feeling that your life has meaning, worthwhile meaning. Overheard someone the other day say, I would love to get some meaning back in my life. Then bring your own bold, because your meaning is encoded in your bold. You bring your bold, tomato, tomato, flip sides of the same coin. Meaning of your life is your bold. So what happens to it, right? If you and I are, let's say we're on the same page, we're getting close. You go, oh, you know what? I do feel that sense of bubble, of effervescence in me. I do feel my bold bubbling up. I think Brian might be onto something. And remember, as I say all the time, is the disclaimer, don't take my word for it. Give yourself, give me, and you. Let's do it as a tag team. Let's do it as a partner. Give yourself 1/72nd of your day, 1 20-minute victory. And just try this. See if this isn't right. See if this doesn't work for you. What happened to that natural energy? Natural resources, as I call them. What happened? What caused them to go dormant? What caused us from being disconnected from that natural power? I think it's our conditioning. I think we need to unpack our conditioning. I think we reach up, reach out, and then one day our bubble wrap, which was put there by, to a certain degree, caring, maybe not as caring as others could have been, but our care, for the lack of a better term, our caregivers early on put bubble wrap around us to protect us, to nurture us. Can't have us running around with scissors, playing stickball in the street. Well, we did, but you know what I'm saying. Go play in traffic. Can't have that. We got to put some bubble wrap around a young being, a young mind. But then we wake up one morning, we go, you know what? That bubble wrap's starting to get a little tight. That bubble wrap is starting to choke me out. So what do? We climb out of the bubble wrap. But it's a bold move, courageous move. We talk all the time about all natural being. Your confidence, your courage is about to make a huge comeback. Why? Because we're not going to rely on our bubble wrap anymore. We're not going to be afraid. We're not going to cower. We're not going to fear vulnerability. We're going to be, I'm in. I'm game. Let's go. I'm tired of my bubble wrap. What do I need? I hear this all the time. And here's the thing. I'm making fun of late of the Gossamer Cult. But to me, I think it's a serious illness. It's a serious disease where a human mind permits itself to be affected by the words of another. A disease. A communicable, no pun intended, a communicable disease. Oh, I got to wrap myself. I'm bubble wrap. Oh, so what's your bubble wrap? I'll make sure I'm wrapped in not allowing people to exercise their opinions. But life looks at you and goes, what's with the bubble wrap? What are you, like 5 years old? The universe looks at you and goes, those styrofoam peanuts were packaging material. You get that, right? You were to reach a certain stage with your trainer wheels and water wings because you're human. You and I were to reach a certain stage with all of our protection, all of our flotation devices, all those things that were attached to help us with equilibrium and balance. We were supposed to reach a certain stage in life, and then we would go through an initiation. And what is that initiation? Surrender the water rings. Surrender the training wheels. Or have like a bubble wrap party. You ever see a little kid wanting to pop all the different bubble wrap? Pop, 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 pop. They just freak. They go nuts. They're loving it. Why? Because intuitively they know. In order to be initiated into life, in order to be able to make it to the waterline, leave civilization behind, in Hunter's words, and enter the waterline, enter the breakers, enter the labyrinth. In order to be able to do that, you can't go through the labyrinth full of bubble wrap. You look like one of those sumo wrestler suits.
Oh, does this outfit make me look fat?
You can't go through the labyrinth with bubble wrap. So at a certain stage, we wake up unhappy, unfulfilled, unsuccessful. We let the words of other people affect us. We give other people an open mic night in our minds. We let other people's opinions, other people's actions affect us. Now, are there some instances where the things other people say or do, right? You're out on a bicycle, rollerblader turns in front of you, you're going down. Some things just do affect us. But here's what I've found. 30 years of doing this. When the, quote, offense happens, deal with it right there in that moment. 20-second victory. Breathe in, exhale, scan the horizon. Take from that encounter what you're intended to. Because people say, oh, so are you suggesting we should have no emotions? No. I'm just saying deal with the emotion in the moment. Don't let it last 2 weeks, 6 months, 20 years. Deal with the emotion in the moment. Decide, is there a positive benefit? This interaction, did I learn something from this? And then forgive the person. Have some compassion. Be grateful for the fact that you learned the lesson and it didn't cost you your life. That's what we do. That's what it means to be a metahuman. That's what it means, just like me standing in front of the camera. All right, Brian, take 2. What are we going to do? Oh, I'd like you to blade to the left this time as opposed to the right. Don't point right at the camera. Use your hands this way. Say it this way. Say it that way. Just another take. So when we feel... Here's a quick question I have. Everyone, the self-help industry. Oh, let's do this, because I love this little tagline. Hold on. Let's try this one. Wait a minute. Hold on here. Talk about mistakes. Take 2. Too bad it's not a live show. We'll edit that out. There
No
we go.
self-help industry tactics here. You're listening to The Real Deal, Brian Brawdy, with All Natural Being on IPM Nation.
Yeah, too bad we can't edit that out, right? That was a mistake.
Oh, fine. I hate the F word.
I know he does. So let me ask you a question. This is why I'm always so with the self-help industry tactics, the higher consciousness cartel, the big business behind the motivational industrial complex. Where does that part of you sit that needs help? Just imagine for a moment for me. If you had to say, okay, Brett, like we're playing that game of Operation. Remember with the little tweezers, and if you hit the buzzer goes off. Let's imagine we're playing that for a minute. Where is this part of you? Where does it sit? Where does it live in you that needs help? Just like point it out to me. It was like we're going to remove that part. Where does that part of you need help? Because chances are it's pretty good. It's just our memories. It's the open mic night. It's those things that exist outside of us that are taunting us, that are haunting us, that are troubling us. But where does that part of you, where does the part of you that can be wounded, where is it? Because scars only go so deep. Beneath all of the stuff that can be scarred, that can be wounded, that can be injured, that can be hurt, beneath all of that is our all-natural being. So I ask again, where is that part of you that can be scarred? Oh, those words, they just wounded me. Where? Where is that part of you that was wounded? Well, it wounded my opinion of myself. Oh, so once again, we're teetering back towards the Gossamer Cult membership. Oh, she really hurt me. Or he really injured me. Where does that injury sit? Where does that hurt sit? Where does that pain sit? A friend of mine this morning said, the pain of the void. Where does that sit? It doesn't sit in us. It's an interpretation. We may want to reinterpret it. It's an interpretation, but where does it sit? Where does this hurt? Where does this scar? Now, if you have a gilded sense of self, you go, oh, well, it hurts right here, and it hurts here, and it hurts there. And that's what happens with the Gossamer Cult. I don't have to buy into that. We're not made that way. When someone says to you, a member of the Gossamer Cult says, well, we need to be politically correct. We're the word police. We're the word police. What they imply is that you don't have the ability to stand up for yourself. So they act like they're going to ride in and save the day. They act like they have your best interest at heart. But how is it helping us if they suggest we continue to wrap ourselves in bubble wrap? That'd be like a lifeguard. You're at the water line. You head into the water. You're drowning, and the lifeguard goes,
I think this is a good lesson. He'll learn how to swim. Don't worry. He'll fight his way. That's only a riptide. It's not like it's a hurricane.
Think about it. All those people that want to protect you from the words of another, they want you encased in bubble wrap. Oh, well, don't worry. We'll protect you from contrary opinion. We'll protect you from those people that'll say nasty things. I don't want your protection. I'll be my own bodyguard, thank you very much.
Oh, that content, too graphic. We don't want to show it.
So now you're my bodyguard? You're my defender? Well, what part of you needs defended? Because everyone in the Gossamer Cult that's convinced that anything you say, right? It's like reading you your Miranda warning. Anything you say can and will be used against you. Well, what are you and I guilty of? What are we being arrested for? That's great for Miranda warnings, but it shouldn't be a way to lead our lives. Shouldn't happen that way. So again, I ask you, where's that part of you that can be injured? Now, you and I may have a fear. We have a fairy tale of the future. Well, if this happens, I could be injured. Okay, but that's not a part of you. That's your fairy tale fear of the future. Right? Or some past script. Oh, well, in the past, God love you, in the past. Okay, but right now, in this moment, this now, in all of time, where sits that part of you that can be scarred? Where is it? Now I can imagine people go, well, Brad, there's deep, heartfelt pain. No doubt. We deal with it in the moment, and then we move on. People say, well, time heals all wounds. Well, if time only occurs in the now, this is the now to heal the wound. And how do you and I do that? Remember who we are. Before the bubble wrap, before the packaging, before the conditioning, before the scaffolding, before the facade, before the training wheels, before the water wings, before all of our baggage, who were we? We were a unique genetic makeup, dropped here, however you feel you got here. Big bang, big breath, the divine, however you define it. I'm getting some pushback of late because I said whether you're dropped here by the Almighty or the aliens or God, gravity, the Greys, however. That's our connection to the universe. We're a fractal of that ubiquitous power, of that ever-present power. I saw this report that said that if you watch footage of sharks, that while you're watching the footage of the sharks, if there's ominous music in the background, dun 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 dun, which is why Jaws works so great, right? Can you imagine the movie Jaws? The shark's coming up, and it's like the music from Monty Python. Right? And then the shark shows up. You'd be going like, what? What? But these scientists now have said, if there's deep, dark foreboding, dun 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 dun, then we're going to go, holy crap, that's a shark. Everybody out of the water. Right? Well, our minds work that same way when it comes to looking in life. If we're going to buy into the foreboding music of the Gossamer Cult, then life's going to look fearful. Life's going to look like an insurmountable challenge. Oh, just the morose. Bum, 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 ba, ba, ba. Well, what if, what's a bubbly song? What if Jaws shows up on the screen with the Walking on Sunshine soundtrack from Katrina and the Waves? I'm walking on sunshine. And then the boat shows up. You think Richard Dreyfuss is going to go, we're going to need a bigger boat? Or maybe that was Brady. I don't remember the actor. Maybe that was the sheriff that says we're going to need a bigger boat. Is that going to happen? No. Because we have that background. We have that, what's it called? The musical score. Well, when the musical score of our minds is the opinions of other people, when the musical score of our minds is other people's opinions about how lousy life is, how you need to be protected in your bubble wrap. Think about it. You have people like this in your life.
Oh, don't do that. Oh, no. Oh, please, that's going to be brutal.
Hey, another hummingbird just went by. Hello, hummingbird. Speaking of music, if you could set a hummingbird's wings to music, and that was the soundtrack when the shark pulled up, people would be going like, hey, you got some seal in your teeth there, pal. What is? Yeah, you got some crap. What do you do? They not have dental floss for sharks? You got some right? No, right here. You got some crap right here in your teeth. No, right? So let me ask you, what's the background score, the musical score in your life? Because if the background score supports your boldness, your authentic being, your soul's true style, that unique genetic makeup that is you, if that's your background score, if that's the soundtrack in your mind, then life becomes an easy gig. And the Gossamer Cult, they can go flit away. It's funny, and I'm only getting in trouble for this as well, but as I sit here, we're at the tail end of the onslaught of the 17-year cicadas here in the Midwest. You think of all that all that noise they make. The Gossamer Cult. Complain, complain. Am I allowed to say biatch? Biatch, biatch, biatch. Try to keep our clean rating here on iTunes. That's what it's like. If that's the chorus in the background, that you need to be protected, that you need a verbal bodyguard, that you need someone constantly watching out for you.
Oh, if someone says anything, just dial 911 and we'll go ahead and remind them that words hurt.
And if you believe that words hurt, what part of you? Where is it? Now, this isn't always easy. So if words are going to hurt, then let's deal with it right now. 20-second victory. At the max, 20-minute victory. Most times. Are there some occurrences that may take a little longer? Absolutely. But ultimately, deal with the affront in that moment, right then, and go, is this worth me siphoning off some of my energy some? Or was the person that hurt me just a jackass? I think I'm allowed to say that. I think. Or, well, let me just say, was the person a donkey's patoot? I can get away with that. There's a clean rating. Yeah. Oh, a donkey's derriere. There you are. That's how I could rhyme. How about a putz's patoot? Was the person that injured you just being a putz's patoot? I like that. Just text me some other ones if anyone can think of any. Let's deal with it in the moment. Let's not give it any more energy than it absolutely deserves. Go, yeah, you know what? That was pretty crappy of you. Can I take anything from it? Nah, don't think so. Take it away. Right in the recycle bin. But if there's something in it that we can use, we go, hey, you know what? Probably could have used it without the, without some of the special sauce. But you raise a valid point. Maybe I can learn something from that. But all the vitriol, you and I don't need protected from that because we're all natural beings. So for the Gossamer Cult, ready to come to your aid with backbones as thick as one of these hummingbird wings. The word police. Yeah, there you go. There's a hawk screeching by. The word police. Constantly on the lookout for anything that may be offensive. Did you hire them? I didn't hire them. Did you ask them to come and be your bodyguard? I most certainly didn't. I missed the memo. Hey, is there a memo? I don't remember. Is there? I didn't see it. Did we hire this person? No, of course we didn't, because we have our all-natural being. And when you bring your own bold, that's the key to being happy in life. That's the key to having meaningful relationships in your life. I promise you, you bring your own bold, people will go, that is somebody I want to hang out with. That's someone that I want to get to know. Don't fall for the Gossamer Cult. They want you in bubble wrap. They want you to spend all of your days. They'd be just as happy if the bubble wrap that you were put in shortly after birth is the bubble wrap you're buried in. Don't fall for it. Because in the end, it doesn't help you and me. It doesn't help our community. It doesn't help our family. It doesn't help our community. It doesn't help our society. We reach an age after, hopefully, we go through an initiation process where we can't be shamed. We can't be embarrassed. We can't be intimidated. We can't be maligned. We can't be wounded. We can't be injured. We can't be hurt. We can't be scarred by the words of another human being. Once we go through our initiation, all that stuff ricochets off us. So what does it show me? We have an entire society that hasn't gone through initiation. So they're doing everything they can to make sure, oh, don't send a contrary opinion to me. Your opinion only counts if it agrees with mine. Don't fall for it. Because ultimately, the only Gossamer Cult we need to worry about is our own ego. Where of all those places that estrangement gone overboard, your ego estranged from your all-natural being, from the field, from the source, from that universal energy, that estrangement gone overboard, that's the home of all the hurt. And that's not real. That's not real. So just as I ask all the time, how much longer are we going to let them hijack our hearts and our heads? How much longer are we going to let ourselves be hijacked? Because we're running the boat. We're the captain and the captainess of the ship. All right, we got to go ahead and get out of here. Have an absolutely fantastic weekend. Don't forget, allnaturalbeing.com. Send me an email. I'll send you one of mine. We can hook up that way. Got a big week coming up next week. I'm learning so many of these different things. But I want to thank you again for not only making us the #1 show here on IPM Nation for all these episodes, all these months, but really for giving me, however you come across it, giving me an hour of your day. That's 3 20-minute victories. That's a big deal in my book. I want to thank you for giving me that amount of time to be your tag team partner so that we can work together to remind you of who you've always been. Because we pull that off, you're going to be thrilled with who you are, where you are, and what you've decided to do about it. All right, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Have a great weekend wherever you are listening in the world. Maybe it's already kicked off for you. Wherever you are, have a fantastic weekend. Look forward to hanging out on Monday.
You've been listening to All Natural Being with Brian Brawdy.
Join us live every Monday through Friday, 7 to 8 a.m. Eastern.
Also, check us out around the clock at allnaturalbeing.com.
Until then, always remember to bring your own bold.
There you go. Save the Meshuggah. Bring your own bold.
IPMNation.com.